Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the ever-changing world of technology? Tech It Out can help make some sense of it all. Breaking down geek speak into street speak, technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman covers consumer technology each week for every listener. Mark tackles the latest news, reviews, and how-tos to help you understand what's hot, what's not, and why.
Hey everyone, welcome to Tech It Out. This is episode 181. Hope you're having a great weekend so far on this last Tech It Out of January 2021. We have 3 stellar interviews for you this hour, beginning with a chat about holograms, which soon may be beaming out of your smartphone. And sooner than you think, by the way. After that, we'll chat with Arcade 1UP about retro video game cabinets for your home. After that, we'll learn about Smarty, a web browser extension designed to not just save you money while shopping, but also making you money while online shopping as well. We'll learn how this hour. All of this and more on this week's all-new Tech It Out, powered by ASUS, for those in search of incredible. I'll tell you more about ASUS shortly, but let's kick off the show with our first interview. You don't need to be a sci-fi geek to remember the classic Star Wars scene with R2-D2 projecting a hologram of Princess Leia for Obi-Wan and Luke Skywalker. Remember that? Well, we've seen some holograms appear over the years, big and small, but what if your smartphone could project a hologram that you can not only see hovering in front of you, but also interact with? Well, it may be coming sooner than you think. Joining us on the line to learn all about Rise technology is Taylor Scott, founder and chief technical officer at a San Diego-based company called IKIN. Welcome to the show, Taylor. Good to chat with you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Before we talk about Rise, tell us a bit about yourself and IKIN.
So I've had a rather unique experience in the past working with specifically chemical engineering and polymer chemistry. IKIN was sort of founded around the ideology of creating a new dimension. You know, there's been a push in the recent years to create the best form of new and improved realities. And so we felt as though we had a unique solution to creating sort of that idealized future that we've seen in films for so many years. And so that's what we've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years, and we're really excited to be able to bring to the market the Rise platform.
All right, Rise. It does sound like science fiction to have a hologram hovering above your hand that you can also manipulate. Please tell us what it is exactly.
Yeah, it sounds like science fiction. It was inspired by science fiction. I can honestly say my obsessive love of the Star Wars films from my early childhood definitely did usher along our focus on this product. But it literally is a device, a hardware device that plugs into the side of your phone that allows you to project a lot of the same rendering environments that occur on your phone up into space. So we refer to it as holographic interplay. You can actually use touch control and swipe things out of the phone, and they will immediately float up into a holographic space projected in open air. So you can see them, and you can also see the natural environment behind you, just like you would in the film if you were looking at, say, Princess Leia and R2-D2. Mm-hmm. And even more than that, we actually allow you to have touch control and gesture control of those holograms via the mobile phone. So if you think about all the things you have currently on your mobile phone, all the videos, photos, all the things you do for communication, all that can be done in open space volumetric hologram now.
Okay, so not only could you download and stream content that are holograms, but you yourself can also turn your regular photos and videos into holograms using the Rise platform. Is that correct?
Exactly. For us, we're really passionate about letting people experience everything that they want to in a system like this. A lot of people they'll use that term hologram very loosely for a litany of different products that exist out there on the market. We have a very strict definition at IKIN based on really a combination of what people have been seeing in science fiction films, which is it has to be floating and it has to have volume. So you have to be able to move around it and perceive it in a new space. But for us, it's the emotional connection of your existing life, your social media feed, your photos and videos, that which you share with your family. Being able to translate that immediately into a volumetric hologram is incredibly powerful. So we'll be giving that to people day one.
And how would you be able to accomplish that? Let's say I had a still photo of my parents. And now it's projected as a hologram with volume hovering seemingly above or beside the smartphone in thin air. But that photo of my parents wasn't taken from various angles. So how would you accomplish that?
Yeah, so we have a unique form of artificial intelligence that we put into each of the applications. We refer to it as neuroadaptive AI, but the point of it is to create what would be the closest representation of synthetic volume from 2D images. Sure. And there's numerous ways of doing it. One of the cool things is that at the time of launch, if you go back through films, you can go through Minority Report, you can go through Iron Man, you can go through Star Wars. It's a different visual concept of what it would be like to view something in an optical depth light field. And so that's what we're going to be able to do. There's going to be different ways of being able to perceive that volume within our system now that we have, this unique projection device. So you'll actually have control over that system. But we can do a lot now with neuroadaptive artificial intelligence, being able to read out saturation levels, placement levels in photos and videos, and to be able to separate out layers and phase them properly in a depth field.
Very cool. We're chatting with Taylor Scott. He's the founder and CTO at a company called IKIN. They have this ecosystem, this platform that is going to debut, and we'll chat with him about when. It's called Ryze, spelled R-Y-Z. And Taylor, by the way, is only 28 years old, and he applied for his first patent at age 15. Is that true?
Well, it was an abysmal failure.
It doesn't matter. I think that's still impressive. You're not only a scientist under 30, but you obviously been doing this for almost half your life. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
All right. So let's talk about some of the applications for seeing and interacting with a hologram. It's one thing to do it just because you can, but what are some of the real world applications do you see? And I know there's a video, by the way, that I encourage our listeners to check out on YouTube. Just type in IKIN, I-K-I-N, and then RYZ to see it. But maybe you can walk us through, since it's radio, what you envision we'd be turning into holograms or using holograms for.
Yeah, IKIN is really built on a dichotomy, myself and our CEO, Joe Ward. So I was the 25-year-old that specifically invented this system so I could play Legend of Zelda and Super Mario Brothers as a video game in a hologram in volume. Awesome. That was the only goal I had. And he came in and had a unique concept around B2B plays and being able to create a really dense ecosystem that had value in multiple markets. So we're currently pursuing really, really exciting relationships when it comes to both medical scanning and translation within the hologram itself, real time, as well as different contracts with the Department of Defense being able to do real time smart city systems.
Wow.
So we're very excited about, the B2B side of it, really, really growing and creating industrial value in holography. Again, there's a lot of devices and systems that can create volumetric light fields, but their uses in situations like that are so limited. So for us, it's taken us quite a few years to be able to build such a flexible, portable system, but it's really working out for us because now you can take it anywhere. You can go out in ambient light in almost any field and enjoy an experience, no matter what the B2B system might be.
Hashtag holography. Love it. I can even imagine a real estate agent showing a property virtually to a potential client, where the house is hovering in 3D and they're using their hand to manipulate it and swing it around and saying, oh, this is where the pool is and look at the driveway. You can do that theoretically as well with your technology.
Absolutely. And we even do this now with regards to some of our DoD contracts and creating essentially very small digital twins of large environments and being able to give them a holographic existence. So you have a view, a portal view into a depth dimension that you did not previously have. So everything from real estate to actual architectural design is vastly improved.
Can you zoom in and out, not just spin the object around?
Yeah, not only can you zoom in and out, but because we have 15 different algorithm points that are looking at both AR libraries, you can actually move closer to the device and it will take you into the actual holographic image. And you'll be able to see it in our beta in the mid of this year in June. And then with our launch later this year, you'll be able to actually experience moving closer to the Ryze, and actually you will be brought in closer to the holographic environment. We have very unique medical education systems that we're using right now to actually allow people to look inside the eye of a cataract surgery to educate them on what a cataract surgery would be like. Mm-hmm. You can actually enter into the eye as you move closer to it and then move out of it.
Wow. Super cool. All right. So a late 2021 launch is what you're anticipating. Can you just cover, before we wrap up, again, the hardware one would need to get going? You said it plugs into the side of your smartphone. I don't know if that's iPhone and Android devices. And how big is it? It's one thing if it's a brick, obviously people aren't going to want to carry it around. So is it the size of a smartphone case? Is it a brick at this point?
So actually, we have a really unique patented design around how we go about creating the system. Again, with the mobile phone, we did the hardest thing first. I mean, it's significantly easier to just build an operating system around this large clunky device and have people jump onto your platform. But to tag on to a device that is aggressively slimmed down and very comfortable, we took painstaking efforts to make it really beneficial. What we did was we modulated both the external power supply that we provide as well as the actual projection device to where they can be modular. You can use the battery or you can use the Rise device. It's easily detachable and attachable. We even have a unique patented magnet attachment system. So all you have to do is get them into close proximity to each other and it'll automatically connect. So we're constantly giving you that futuristic feeling. But it will essentially give you a depth field view of another smartphone. So essentially a very condensed, very comfortable secondary screen that you can use.
Yeah, that's fair, especially for a first generation product. Because in the videos, you don't see that device. It looks like it's just software coming, emanating out of the phone or using the phone's camera to project it. But you will need a piece of hardware. So you think it's about the size of a smartphone, not including the battery pack, which is optional. That's fair?
The battery pack is not optional. However, you'll be quite excited to see it at the beta in June. It's not what people will be expecting.
Okay. And I'm not sure if it's too early to talk pricing, but you do envision a 2021 launch?
Indeed, we do, yes. And our current go-to-market pricing is around $299, which both includes the external battery that can power both the Rise or your mobile phone.
Okay, that's great. All right, and then finally, the website for IKIN and to learn more about Rise for our listeners who are no doubt intrigued about this?
Absolutely, yeah. IKINinc.com, and you can find quite a bit of information both on our B2B relationships as well as our public beta and launch.
All right, so that's IKIN Inc. Inc.com. Taylor Scott, great to chat with you. Congratulations on your successes to date, and I'm excited to actually kick the tires on Rise in person one day. So thanks again. All the best.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more Tech It Out on the Radio America Network. Stick with us.
Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want. Find the Tech It Out podcast at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Tech It Out, powered by ASUS for those in search of incredible. ASUS creates technology for today and tomorrow's smart life, including its line of award-winning laptops and desktops, monitors, smartphones, smartwatches, tablets, and much more. For those in search of incredible, visit asus.com/US/radio for more info. That's asus.com/US/radio. Not sure about you, but I love retro gaming. There was so much good content from the 80s and 90s, especially in arcades, that I love when companies like Tastemakers is bringing back that fun, and this time for our homes, and bringing back all that nostalgia with it. Tastemakers is best known for its Arcade 1-Up cabinets, and joining us to talk about what's new for 2021 is David McIntosh. He's the Director of Marketing and Communications at Tastemakers. Welcome to the show, David. Good to chat with you.
Thank you so much, Mark. I appreciate you having me.
Sure. Before we get to what's new, tell us about Arcade 1-Up.
Sure. Yeah. So in October of 2018, Arcade 1-Up launched these mid-sized at-home arcade machines. We understood that there was a bit of white space in the at-home retro gaming category, and that's where we really wanted to focus our energy on. And after quickly selling out at major retailers and getting a lot of buzz at trade shows, as you mentioned, CES in 2021, but go into the past of 2019, we really realized we were onto something. So quickly, Arcade 1-Up started to expand its offering outside of at-home arcade machines, but that's really our bread and butter.
Okay, and we'll get to that. But these are licensed arcade games, right? Like if someone's playing, say, Galaga from an Arcade 1-Up cabinet, it is the authentic game. It's not like a copycat.
Yeah, that's really important. For me, it's such a common practice that I assume it's a given that we're using licensed arcade machines. But yeah, to your point, we work with the top licensors in all gaming categories, from Atari to Capcom, Bandai Namco, you name it, to bring all the iconic titles back to life.
And what's your favorite video game cabinet?
I'd have to say it's probably the NBA Jam one we did, because it was our first ever live arcade machine. And especially right now, while we're practicing social distancing, it's getting a lot of playtime. And I still feel like I'm at an arcade even while at home. So it's a great experience and tons of fun.
Can you elaborate on the live part? Are you suggesting multiplayer online gaming?
Yeah. So for the online features that it has, if you have a machine, I have a machine, we can both connect through our Wi-Fi and play as if we're locally playing. So even though it has up to 4 players locally, you can also connect up to 4 players through its online feature, which is really fun.
Awesome. Now, look, it's no secret there are a lot of competitors in this retro gaming space. What would you say separates Arcade 1UP from the pack? Where have you succeeded where others maybe have failed?
Well, Arcade 1UP is really trying to bring the arcade experience home. And we do that through a few different, aspects. First and foremost, ours look and feel like the authentic arcade machine that everybody knows and loves, that you played at an arcade growing up, that you would play now at a Dave & Buster's. So the arcade design, the joystick and button configuration down to the artwork, all of those are true to the originals. We're not trying to jam everything into one. That's where we feel like our competitors are really lacking, if you will. There's too many buttons, too many joysticks, too many dials and trackballs, whereas our joystick and button configuration is true to the hero title on that machine. Even though we offer various different titles, it's important to us to really hone in on what that experience was. So authentic design, authentic gameplay, and authentic joystick and button configurations, those are all really important to us. But then there's also the collectability aspect. We're not trying to sell you one machine and really just call it quits. What we're trying to sell is that at-home arcade experience, and the fact that you can literally build an arcade in your house for a couple $100s per unit and really have the look of an arcade. If you set it up in a game room, if you set it up in your basement, your living room, if you will, 2 to 3 of these things side by side, it really does capture the essence of an arcade, something that you wouldn't get with any of our competitors' products.
And these are a 3/4 size cabinets, and with the option to buy a platform to elevate it to the full size. Is that fair?
Yeah. So they're 3/4 scale, and we sell risers, which brings them up to the same height that you would play at a traditional arcade machine's height. The only difference is we don't have the really, really big overhead features that the traditional arcades had. We were able to really reduce the weight and the cost by limiting those sizes, as well as the base itself is a bit more narrow. Really designed for your house, so you can fit a few in a smaller space.
But as you said, with authentic artwork along the sides and front of the cabinet, there's a hero game, as you called it, the main game, as well as often 2-3 others, right, built into the same device. How big is the screen size on these Arcade 1UP cabinets?
Yeah, so it varies depending on the machine. Some of them are vertical versus horizontal designs, trying to stick to the original, hero title as you described, but 17 inches it seems to be the standard for us.
Okay. Are there any modern conveniences that were not back in the 80s or 90s? Like, can you pause a game? Anything you've added, I guess, with NBA Jam, the ability to play online multiplayer, that wasn't in the original.
Correct. Yeah. Online features we're starting to roll out in a lot of our newer titles. A lot of these original arcade games were never designed to have online features. And in fact, some of those games had never been made online before in an arcade form factor. So NBA Jam is a good example. Even though it made its way to console, had some online features, it had never been done online in an arcade format before. So yeah, we're adding some modern twists to some retro tech.
Also, I should note for parents who may not want to hear the cabinet go all the time, even though they're the ones probably playing it more so than the kids, but there's also a variable volume control, if I can speak from experience with a couple of the cabinets that I have, where there's like a low, medium, loud. You can choose, which wasn't in the original. More with Arcade 1UP when we return on Tech It Out.
Want to follow Mark? Google him. Mark with a C and Saltzman with a Z. Breaking down geek speak into street speak. This is Tech It Out. Tech It Out with technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. We're chatting with David McIntosh. He's with a company called Tastemakers. They're the folks behind the wildly popular Arcade 1UP cabinets. These are retro video games that you can buy for your home, quarters not needed. Before the break, David, I was talking about the volume control, which was not found in the original arcade unit. So you can mute it, you can have it on low, you can have it on loud, which I think is a nice feature for parents who have kids that want to play this maybe late at night, right?
Yeah, it's actually a nice feature. For me, the attract mode is what brings me into it. Having the machine on, having the light up marquees and then the audio blaring. That's actually what draws a lot of people into the game. So for me, I like it, but you don't want that on at 2 a.m. in the middle of the night. So it's nice to be able to mute the machine.
How many different Arcade 1-Up cabinets are there? And then also let's talk about the future, which was just unveiled at the Consumer Electronics Show. Tell us how your 2021 lineup looks.
Yeah, so holy smokes, Mark, since we first spoke back in 2018, I think we've rolled out over 30 different titles in different form factors, and we've been busy. So in the main category, I think there's about 15 to 20 different titles from the likes of Atari and Capcom, Bandai, Midway, you name it, all the number one retro manufacturers of arcade games.
Even you have Golden Tee Golf, right?
Yeah. Golden Tee's a classic, actually. If you asked me what my top three were, that was number two for me. So we've rolled out various different titles as well as different form factors, which we can dive into in a bit. And then we also just unveiled a whole bunch of new categories and titles as well as at CES, as you had mentioned. So we rolled out something called the Legacy Collection, which is essentially taking the top 12 games from each licensor, from Atari, Capcom, and Bandai Namco, and put them into one machine that has the original design as the hero game, whether it's Tempest as well as 12 other Atari classics. It has the authentic artwork and joystick button configuration. And then we have the Capcom, which features the Street Fighter II World Warrior cabinet shape and design. 12 additional Capcom games in there. All of the Street Fighter kind of fanatics would really like that table. And then the classic Namco Legacy, which has 12 iconic Bandai games in there, like Pac-Man and all the other classics there. So that really wraps up the Legacy line. The main push there was all of our fans, they like variety, they like additional games, but mainly they wanted to have a capsule collection where you can really enjoy all of the top games from each publisher, and that's what we were trying to capture with that one.
Okay, awesome. So at the recent Consumer Electronics Show, you unveiled these new Legacy cabinets, which is a bigger collection of games from a particular publisher, opposed to just having 2, 3, or 4 in one machine. And if I understand correctly, you even ventured out to pinball last year. Is that right?
Yeah. We launched our very first virtual pinball product. We announced them last year. Due to COVID, there were some delays in the manufacturing, so they're starting to roll out now. But from the likes of Marvel, Star Wars, as well as the iconic Attack from Mars pinball table, we're really trying to close the gap in virtual pinball realism there.
All right, so virtual, there's no real silver ball or real bumpers or anything like that. It's all digital, but it's meant to simulate that experience, even down to the ball physics and all that, right?
Yeah, we partnered with production studios, Zen Studios. They're the number one virtual pinball game developers, and they're essentially taking the magic of 3D animation to trick your eyes, and we're bridging the gap into the mechanical field where we're adding solenoids for tactile and haptic feedback, as well as some really cool HD surround sound options on those tables. So when you play it, it feels like you're playing on a mechanical pinball table, but it's all virtual to keep the price down.
And just to bring everybody up to speed, that haptic feedback refers to like slight vibrations where it's as if the ball really hit a bumper and you feel it in your hand, that slight little jolt. That is what you're referring to, much like console games have today with tactile feedback or haptic feedback in the controller itself. Just before we wrap up and talk pricing, also Dragon's Lair, a popular Laserdisc game of yesteryear, is also coming in 2021 from Arcade 1-Up.
Yeah, we had 3 other titles that I can skim over very, very briefly. Dragon's Lair was one of them. It's a direct 4:3 HD transfer from the original animation cells, and I know that's a bunch of jargon for the everyday consumer, but to summarize, it's essentially the closest replication of the Dragon's Lair arcade in an at-home form factor.
From animator Don Bluth.
Yeah, it was really impressive. It's like watching a movie when you play that game. It's fantastic.
I remember seeing Dragon's Lair for the first time in arcades in the mid-'80s, and I was just blown away. What else is coming out this year?
We introduced a new category. It's a pub table. We did a Pong pub table for those who grew up as gamers, everybody remembers Pong. It's a classic. It's a 4-player head-to-head pub table. And the idea behind this is 8 classic games from Atari in a 4-player head-to-head form factor that you can stand up and play. That also doubles as a bar table, which is great. And lastly, we had Killer Instinct, which we showed at the show. It has 3 games, has a live feature, as we discussed earlier. What's really unique about this game is that the rights are owned by Microsoft. So for us, it's our first Microsoft collaboration, which really opens the door for a lot of future rollouts.
Okay, awesome. And then finally, David, as we wrap up, for those listening to pick up one of these arcade one-up cabinets for themselves or maybe as a gift to a loved one in 2021, how much do they cost and what's the best website to get going?
It's $300 to $500. Arcade1up.com is where you'll find all the info.
All right, arcade1up.com is where you can learn more. I know you've got partners with retailers like Walmart. David, it's been great chatting with you. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to see you in person as CES 2021 was virtual this year, but hopefully I'll see you sooner than later. Good to chat with you. All the best.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
If sound effects like this make you grin, then a retro game cabinet like Ms. Pac-Man, if you recognize that, would be ideal for you. As I mentioned, there's many other games they have as well, including Dragon's Lair. So good stuff from Arcade 1-Up. A good addition to any man cave out there. What's your favorite arcade game from the 80s or 90s? Hit me up on social media to let me know. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. It's Mark Saltzman. Mark with a C, Saltzman with a Z. So that's SALTZMAN. Let me know what your favorite is. I have a nostalgic leaning towards Ms. Pac-Man, as you heard. Galaga, Tron, Centipede, Burger Time. Any of those from the early to mid 80s really does it for me. Anyhow, you are listening to Tech It Out on the Radio American Network. After this short break, we're going to chat about an app called Smarty, designed to save you money on your online purchases and even help you earn cash back on your online purchases. Look, there are other browser extensions and apps that do a similar thing. So I'm going to ask Smarty what makes them special. Why should somebody use Smarty over some of these other services out there? If you want to pull up Smarty ahead of the interview in a moment, it's at joinsmarty.com. That's joinsmarty.com. We'll be right back with more Tech It Out.
Breaking down geek speak into street speak. Check it out. Hosted by Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Tech It Out, powered by ASUS, creating technology for today and tomorrow's smart life. ASUS, for those in search of incredible. Visit asus.com/US/radio for more info. That's asus.com/US/radio. And if you're a gamer, as we just chatted about before the break with Arcade 1-Up, you probably know about the Asus ROG or Republic of Gamers line of gaming gear, desktops and laptops and accessories. Check it all out at asus.com. Especially after the year we've just endured, saving money while shopping in 2021 is on many of our minds, no doubt. And thankfully, technology can help you save, and in some cases, even earn cash back. And we're now going to learn about a new one to consider called Smarty. Joining us on the line to explain what this is, we've got Vipin Porwal with us. He's the founder and CEO of Smarty, based in LA. Welcome to the show, Vipin. Good to chat with you.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
So at a high level, what is Smarty all about?
Smarty is an effort to make online shopping smart, efficient, and honest. What we're trying to do here is offering a program to the users via browser extension where it makes their online shopping smart by providing them price comparison tools while they are shopping on the retailer's website, making it efficient by offering them coupons and cashback during the checkout process. And with our new suite of order protection features, we're making it honest by doing the price protection and shipping protection for the users.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe it's like a cross between a browser extension that our listeners may be familiar with, like Honey, as well as cashback services like Rakuten or Ibotta. Is that fair? It's kind of like a fusion of some of these other shopping tools out there?
It would be fair to say that Smarty's original idea was to focused on targeted coupons.
Okay.
What Honey does is it focuses on the generic coupons that are coming in from the retailers, and we focus on targeted coupons that are coming from the retailers into your mailbox. As we embarked on that journey, we realized that we cannot just focus on targeted coupons, and we have to build a holistic solution for our user base.
Sure. How many retailers would you say Smarty supports for things like cashback on purchases?
Smarty is working with about 6,000 plus retailers in US and another 4,000 internationally. There's definitely an overlap in certain retailers who are basically both working US and globally.
Got it. And I know there's a premium version of Smarty, which we'll get to in a moment. But can you walk us through how the free version of this browser extension works? Kind of like from start to finish, so our listeners know how to get going and how they can start saving.
Absolutely. First step, you need to go to joinsmarty.com. You will be prompted to install a browser extension. Then you go ahead and create an account because you want cashbacks and coupons attributed to your account so that you can claim it later in the sales cycle. Once you have the extension installed, anytime you're on any retailer's website and trying to make a purchase, Smarty will start working in the background looking for coupons in real time. It will give you option to apply the coupons on the checkout page if the user engages with the Smarty's overlay. What we do is we apply the coupons automatically on thousands of retailers' websites, and we also offer cashback to the user at the same time. This is the whole cycle for a user to set up with the Smarty, from installing the extension, getting the coupons and cashback.
So you don't have to look for coupons yourself. Like I know that I've opened up a separate window before and I've looked for, websites like Retail Me Not, or I'll Google the store or the product and then the word coupon and I'll see what code pops up and then I got to copy and paste it back to the main browser window. So you don't have to do any of that. It'll automatically comb through the page that you're on and see if there's anything that you're eligible for. Is that right?
Absolutely. And it's very interesting you said that, because that's exactly what I was doing earlier before we set up Smarty. And we just did our survey for 2021 after the holidays. And about 75% of the people, they abandon their shopping carts if they don't find a working coupon.
Oh, wow.
Which is a very amazing number.
That's a lot. Yeah. So 3 out of 4 shoppers will say, okay, I'm not going to buy it if I can't get a discount. Interesting. So I do see the benefit then to the retailer, of course. But didn't you say earlier, Vipin, correct me if I'm wrong, that you can also see if that same product is less expensive somewhere else, which I know a retailer wouldn't like their customers to notice. Did I misunderstand what you were saying?
No, you got it right. The retailers that we don't have partnership with is where we offer the price comparison features. And our goal is to basically provide the best prices for our user. And at the same time, retailers also want to provide the best prices for the users. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the competition between Amazon and Walmart, and you track prices, all these websites are changing their prices multiple times a day, which is impossible for user to track on while they're doing their purchases.
Okay, I got it. We're chatting with Vipin Porwal. He's founder and CEO of Smarty. This is a web browser extension that helps you save money while you're shopping, and in some cases gives you cash back as well. Before we continue, Vipin, what percentage of cash back can you get? I know it varies between retailers and what time of the year it is, but is there a general percentage?
Yeah, I would say if you put an average on it, I would say 5 to 7%, plus that we are going to get into a little while. But then what we do is we do the double the cashback on that one.
Right. I know that's one of the features of Smarty Plus. We'll get to that. Okay. Hey, we're going to continue learning about Smarty after this short break. We'll have a few more minutes with our guest. Specifically, I'm going to ask how you get paid. Is it a check? Is it a credit to use somewhere? Is it a PayPal deposit and all that? So stick with us. You are listening to Tech It Out. I'm your host, Mark Saltzman. Hope you've been enjoying the show so far. We've got one more block coming right up after this. Stick with us.
Follow Mark Saltzman on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want.
We're chatting with Vipin Porwal. He's the founder and CEO of Smarty, an LA-based company that has a free browser extension to keep an eye on what you're buying in order to save you money and even help you earn cash back. Now, before the break, we were talking about getting paid, which is what I think a lot of my listeners are curious about. With that in mind, how do you pay your Smarty users?
We have the option to pay via PayPal. It's not a gift card or coupons or tokens, anything like that. It's like a real dollar cash that gets transferred into your accounts.
You said it's a browser extension for Chrome, but is it also an app?
It is a browser extension for desktops. It's available for all the browsers out there, which is Edge and Firefox. We are also working on the app, which is in the store right now, but the features are kind of in constraint over there. So we're working towards making it an app as well. It will be available in 2021.
Without further ado, let's now chat about the paid subscriber version of Smarty called Smarty Plus. What's that all about?
Smarty Plus is in our effort to basically provide a subscription platform for the users. We double the cashback for the users. We do refund for the return shippings for the users. So if you go to a retailer website that does not offer a return shipping, you can get a reimbursement if you have a Smarty Plus subscription. And also, we are working on the order protection features, which is basically if you purchase a product on the retailer's website and the price drops in the future, there's no way for any user to track it. Smarty Plus would work towards that and track the prices for the product that you purchased and alert you to claim the refunds from the retailer.
So if you bought a specific brand of a TV and it was on sale for $9.99 and then, 12 days after you bought it, it drops down to $7.99. Smarty Plus will alert the customer to say, hey, that TV that you bought has dropped in price. So here's how to get back the difference or what have you with that retailer. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah, yes. Right. And we have like shipping protection as well. So if a retailer is telling you to deliver a product on a certain time frame and they are not able to keep up to their promise, you can reach out to the retailers for compensation.
How much does Smarty Plus cost?
Smarty Plus is available for a $3 trial for 7 days, and then it's $13 per month thereafter. One of the things that I want to mention about Smarty Plus is if you go out and have a subscription plan, which we all do, it's one of the only subscription plan that kind of pays you back over a period of time.
And then finally, how do we get going? What's the best website? I think you said earlier it's joinsmarty.com. Is that right?
Yes. Head over to joinsmarty.com. It will prompt you to install an extension, create an account, sign up for the Smarty Plus if you want to head into the order protection features and double the cash back.
All right. Joinsmarty.com. Vipin, it's been great chatting with you. All the best for 2021. Thanks again.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for your time.
What do you guys think about Smarty? Hit me up on social media. It's Mark with a C, Saltzman with a Z. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Tell me what you think. Again, the website is joinsmarty.com. I'm sure many will do the free version. And then if they see the value in double the cash back and the buyer protection and all that, then they may opt for the Smarty Plus plan. But cool. Hey, usually on this show every week, and this weekend will be no exception, I did want to talk for a moment about Western Digital external SSDs or solid state drives. For years, I've had hard drives, which are great because they have lots of storage. There's like 5 terabytes and 7 terabytes. I mean, this is a lot for those digital pack rats like yours truly. But SSDs have many advantages over external hard drives, and I'm starting to make the switch. And now there are 4 terabyte SSDs. So they're starting to catch up in storage. I'm talking about a little tiny one that plugs into your computer and it uses the power off of your laptop or desktop to charge it up. So I'm looking at one right now on my desk. So it's a portable drive, 4 terabytes. I've got here the WD Black, but I know Western Digital has other models as well. But if you're looking for massive storage and all the benefits that SSDs bring, this is for you. So smaller, lighter, quieter, and faster than an external hard drive. It has no moving parts. So if you are using a laptop, it's also better on the battery than a hard drive because it doesn't have to spin like a platter. It's also less prone to damage because there are no moving parts. It's so fast that you can run programs right off the drive if you want and not just use it for storage, to back up your files. But I recently had a scare where I was locked out of my computer, and thankfully I did make a backup on my WD Black 4 terabyte external drive. So I can't underscore the importance enough of a good external drive to proactively preemptively protect your files in case something happens to your computer. Western Digital is the brand that I trust, but great stuff. You can go to Western Digital's website to learn more. Thank you for tuning into Tech It Out, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed the program. Feel free to give me a review on the podcast, a star rating, if you will, or share it with a friend, family member, or colleague, or give me any feedback you like directly or on social media. I'm all ears. Thanks again for tuning in. You're listening to Tech It Out, powered by ASUS. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone, and a happy and healthy week ahead. Looking forward to catching up with you next time for episode 182 of Tech It Out.